I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Another day of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. And once again, it will be the stars and cars of the Spec Corvette Series presented by Nankang Tire, coming to you from Chuckwalla Valley Raceway. My name is Chris Graham. John Wynn is down gridside for us. Hopefully we're going to have James Watson checking in. A little bit of a schedule snafu here. We're getting on the air super quick here, but man alive. Great racing action we saw yesterday, and let's head on over. Actually, we'll head on over to John Wynn here, and we'll bring that camera up because, John, you are down grid side, and you got a good look there at that 63 machine.
Hey, Chris, thanks. Yeah, we're looking at the car and the pole sitter of Donnie York. This is the first time he's gotten pole, and twice this weekend, which was pretty incredible drive for him, running a minute 57 in Spec Corvette trim. And you're going faster than some of the ST2 cars here with full aero and slick. So great job for Donnie York. He had a little bit of an issue on the start yesterday with missing a shift. So when you saw the start happen, you saw him drop back a couple positions right away, and that was due to a missed shift. So he's working on that today. He said he's going to do the best he can to get a clean start here. So good luck to Donnie York. Doing excellent this weekend, setting pole both days on grid. We're going to come down here to, got Robert Carroll here, for number 147. Bringing up the tail here, we'll go straight over to David Holmes, who's in the P2 position on grid. So yesterday, Dave was the race winner, and you saw that race early. Turned out to be a class vehicle that actually caught off. Red flags come out and ended the races pretty quickly there. So ended up David Holmes out front. Here he is. The rookie David Holmes was out front yesterday, doing a great job driving this year, keeping it clean, keeping it in the wheels underneath him, doing a great job. New upcomer here is James Alasky. Used to race Spec 944. And he's out here racing with us now in Spec Corvette Racing. Had a great weekend so far, getting third in qualifying right now. And he actually got on the podium yesterday with a P3 position. So, brand new car, brand new build, brand new driver. He's putting it down. So, right next to him is Pal. How hard Patrick himself was driving this car. He was driving the wheels. This was the best drive that Patrick has had so far in his entire Spec Corvette. Just about 2.5 seasons ago, this guy right there was doing HPD and saw the Spec Corvettes on track and said, I want to do that. And that's what he does. So now, this year is for him to take it competitive. So he's got a couple years experience under his belt. And yesterday, he was running P2 for several laps until he had a 4 off and then had to let drivers. He got onto the track back safely, let everybody through, and then ended up, I think, in like P6 or something like that. Then we had Evan Gold here coming on from the Phoenix Performance number 37 car from Gold Oral Surgery. And then we have John Simon, which we do have some in-car feed from him. There's John Simon, qualified with 2 minutes flat today. He added a little bit of rake to the car because he had some understeering issues. And he said that improved the understeering drastically. So you can see the front and rear, the rear gap versus the front gap. and he just dropped the front a little bit, and that was enough to get some grip in the front end. So he's super happy with how that's running right now. And then we have Clint Pichon. Clint took about a 3-year hiatus, had some kids, had some life happen, and now he's back out racing with us, having a good time. He's got some fresh tires on for the weekend. Came back with us last race at Chuckwalla with 4-year-old Nankings and ran the race with them just for fun, had a good time. But now this year he's coming out with some fresh tires. And our newest racer, Robert Carroll, all the way up from Northern California, having a good time with his beautiful yellow Z06. Coming out here having fun. This will be his first completed race weekend with Spec Corvette, and he kept his nose clean, had no issues on track, and is overall having a great time. So there's your field right now. We lost a couple cars from yesterday to today, but the field is here. These guys are ready to race and have a good time, and I think it's going to be a hell of a show. With if you look at the qualifying times, these guys, the mid-pack guys, are about all two minutes flat, all on top of each other, led by Donnie York at the minute 57, which is absolutely blazing. So these guys are getting geared up to go on track. I just saw the 1 minute mark get called, and they're going to be going out there. We're going to have a split start. Spec Corvettes are going to have their own start and their own flag, so it should be pretty exciting. Let's hope we get into turn one clean as usual and have a good race to see, because I'm sure these guys are going to put it to it. And looking to see what happens here. Donnie York wants to stay calm, run his race, and see where he can finish today. I think he has it in him, so let's see what he can do. David Holmes is a contender, very fast, and he's putting it together now where his driving is very smooth, and he's keeping things on track, and that's going to be a hard guy to beat. So the race is going to be between Donnie and Dave, and they're good friends also, and they help each other out in the pits, and they're right on top of each other lap time-wise. So excellent racing for today, and we're getting geared up here. You're going to see some of these cars starting to go on track. Some of them leaving now in the ST3 class, and the Spec Corvettes are going to be next.
All right, John. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the grid walk and quite frankly, giving us the big runaround to get everybody a look here. He mentioned those Nankang tires, the presenting sponsors, the NS2Rs. It's a 315/3018 that these guys are running, and they are a street legal tire. That's one of the big things about the Spec Corvette series is everything these guys do. These cars are, in theory, street legal racing machines. Willwood providing the brakes, the big 6-piston big brake kits. Redline Oils, the official racing oils and fluid sponsor. Track Spec Motorsports taking care of the hood vents, the racing radiators, aeros, sway bars, you name it, all that kind of stuff, along with the prefab roll cage kits as we go on board here with John Simon making his way out onto the racetrack. Sparco USA providing safety gear, racing suits, belt seats, all that good stuff. Stickers and car wraps courtesy of SS Graphics. Improved Racing doing some oil cooling adapters, the oil pan baffles and all that stuff. G-Stream providing the rear spec spoilers along with the aerodynamic parts. Turn 1 steering, the official power steering racing components of the Spec Corvette series. And also a big thank you to Candelaria Racing Products providing the Sentinel onboard systems. This one is going to be, and let's see, we're going to reset the camera feed here on Patrick Howe's car because the Sentinel unit that these guys put together is absolutely fantastic that we get out of these guys. And actually looks like we're not seeing Patrick Howe's feed at the moment, but yeah, it is a really just spectacular onboard system that these guys provide for us. So on board with John Simon at the moment. Let's flip over and pick up the onboard with Donnie York here at the front of the field. This car was spectacularly fast, as John mentioned. A minute 57.382 was the lap time of record. David Holmes qualifying in the second position, only about a second back, 1.6 seconds back of York for the pole position. The next group of cars, we've got 4 cars within 0.8 of a second. James Alasky, Patrick Howe, Evan Gold, John Simon, and then you have Clint Pichon. He's only about a half second back of that group. However, like we said, it's about 0.8 of a second that separates position 2 from position 6. of note, the car of Daniel Sepulveda will not be on the grid today, which is unfortunate. He had an off-track incident yesterday as well. Something going on in the race car there that he was not able to get that car back out onto the racetrack. So down a car, but we've got a couple of additional onboards here, which is spectacular, and we love getting to show that to you. Once the cars cross the start-finish line, we will be able to give you the full lineup. Now, the timing tower today will show you the entirety of Super Touring 3. The Spec Corvettes are not separately classified for the timing and scoring system. But basically all they have to do is trip the timer, and we'll be able to show you who is running where. Overall pole in ST3 is a 1 minute 56.181. Fastest lap time goes to an ST2 car setting a 146.035. My goodness. That is absolutely flying around this place. But you see the gap that we're starting to build here at the front of the field. Donnie York letting that gap open up. They basically have to do this organically. So he's going to slow way down on the racetrack. Open that gap up. The Spec Corvette field will get doubled up, and it will be right about time for our guys to go racing here. And it is a spectacular dive down into turn 1 that you'll see. And there we go. Green flag is out. Things are underway here at Chuckwalla Valley Raceway. York grabs the early advantage. Oh, baby, big side-by-side battle there with the 71. Man, that's going to be tight.
David Holmes put a nose in there and almost got it done, but Donnie pushed a little pressure on it and was actually able to go around David on the outside, squeeze him in so he couldn't get acceleration out of the turn, and held on to that position. So right now, David's about 3 car lengths off of Donnie's bumper. It looks like we have James Alasky right behind him, Patrick Howell, John Simon, Clint Pichon, and then Evan Gold with Robert Carroll following him up right now. So a nice clean start to the race. And looks like we're going to have some fun here with Donnie York staying out front currently, but with his buddy David Holmes right behind him. And Dave has the speed to catch him.
Yeah, and actually, we're going to slide back and pick up this next battle a little bit deeper in the field. This is going to be John Simon we're on board with. Patrick Howell, James Alasky just ahead. These guys are all still basically nose to tail. Top 4 are all very, very close to each other at this point. Top 2 starting to speed off into the distance ever so slightly, though.
Yeah, Donnie and Dave are pulling away. James right behind. James had
big off track. Big off track for James Alasky. He was all 4 off the racetrack.
That puts Patrick Howell now in position 3. Look at that.
Big dive by Simon up to the inside.
Wow,
Man,
John Simon.
Going back on board now with James Alasky. My goodness, these guys are all over the place here and really pushing these cars hard. Donnie York has smooth sailing out the front windscreen of his number 63 machine.
David Holmes is not far behind. He's about 3 car lengths off his bumper. Starting to get into some lap traffic now already, catching up to the ST2 and ST3 cars.
Man alive, some of these cars are absolute screamers out there too, John.
Absolutely. A lot of different cars out here.
I will say I much prefer the throaty roar of All-American V8 heavy iron there, bud.
Can't beat the sound of that American V8 Corvette.
But going on board here now with Donnie York as he is caught up in some lap traffic. Oh, and they're going to be too wide as well. And this is really where the race can kind of change a little bit. David Holmes is going to have an opportunity to attack if there's the slightest little bit of a miss by Donnie York.
See Donnie making a move now, going through the traffic. The guys are letting him through. This is nice. We appreciate that from the other classes. Donnie York coming through the front, still in the lead. David Holmes now a car in between. That's going to be a problem for him. So it looks like David Holmes has a car in between him and Donnie. That's going to be a factor of maybe holding him up because they caught that traffic. So I hope he lets him by, and it looks like he's going to. Not letting him by.
Now we're going to switch back here and pick up John Simon. He has Patrick Howe just up ahead. A little bit, those same lap cars are now just ahead of our battle for the third position. That's going to be Patrick Howe, John Simon, James Zalaski, and Clint Pichon. These guys, it's only about 3 seconds separating third from sixth at this point.
They're all nose to tail at this time.
Oh, big shot up the inside by John Simon on Patrick Howe. Nice move there.
John Simon is on a tear today. I don't know what he did overnight, but the pass going into turn one, now that pass on to Patrick Howe, he's putting it down right now.
Somebody getting off the racetrack just up ahead of James Zalaski. Just kind of dipped the left side tires off on corner exit. Does throw a little bit of dust up. Man, it is so much fun watching these guys try to slice their way through lap traffic. So Zalaski now trying to chase down Patrick Howe and John Simon just up ahead. Already 7.5 minutes into this race.
Yeah, it looks like Dave Holmes was able to get through the lap traffic, and he's about 10 car lengths off of Donnie York right now. Here they come through the start-finish line. Donnie's holding a good line.
Man, that's a great four-car battle.
Yeah, these guys are on top of each other. Clint Pichon putting a move right now on James Zalaski. Tried to look on the inside, didn't have enough, backed off. These guys are all over each other. Clint is about 2 inches off of James Zalaski's bare bumper.
And I tell you what, these guys are not that far back behind. Taking a look here, Patrick Howe and John Simon just up ahead as well. It is really a battle trying to get through some of these lap cars because some of these cars are running a lot more in the aerodynamic department. So whether it's the big rear wings that we're seeing on some of these cars, the front splitters and all, they will corner faster than the Spec Corvettes. Our guys really have to use that power advantage down the straightaways.
Running a 200 treadwear street tire against, fully built ST2, ST3 cars. These cars actually they're aerodynamically split. We get to the cars fast, but we keep them reliable. And they're a lot of fun to drive.
Well, we got a great look here from James Zalaski. Let's switch over and we'll pick up our race leader here, Donnie York. That car is just flying right now.
He's coming in some lap traffic here. Let's see how he deals with it. He should be able to get around these cars on the straightaway. But that's going to leave David Holmes again in the same situation. If he could split them up, put a little distance in between them. Doesn't look like he's going to have enough to get around from the roadster. Is he going to do it? No, he backs off. Doesn't have enough. That was a good move for Donnie, backing off on that one. Look at the battle between Patrick Howell and John Simon. I wish you had Patrick's in car right now. Oh, Simon ball threw off, and Howell takes the position back. What a battle between these two guys.
Oh, man. The look from John Simon is good, but how about this one from race leader Donnie York? Whole lot of dust on the inside of the corner there, and he's got one of these big wing cars that are going to, I mean, they're just going to be faster through the corners. Using that Corvette power to his advantage, though. Picks the spot up down the straightaway, and I'll tell you what, John, when we see these guys throwing the dust, kicking dust up, that's actually a big deal because it can be very, very difficult when you get these Nankang street tires on there. You have less tread wear to use, so you get anything on the tires. It's a lot to get them cleaned off.
Yeah, especially at this track. This track is legendary for being different in how the tires react on the contact patch and everything like that. So when you get dirt all over the track, it certainly affects how you drive. So Chuckwalla is famous for that. So you got Donnie York coming back. Start-finish line here. He's still in the lead, and there's one car in between me and David Holmes. David Holmes going to get the pass on. Looks like he got it. Whoa, a little squirrely. Oh, a little squirrely. Gathered it up at the last second there. Made the pass. That was pretty sketch, but he got it done. Nice job keeping it together. Donnie York putting the distance on Holmes now after that last turn where Holmes had to gather it up.
Yeah, the lead is now up over 3 seconds for Donnie York over David Holmes. John Simon currently sitting in position number 3, followed by Patrick Howell and James Alasky. Alasky just running his best lap of the race. As we go on board here with Alasky, you can see he's starting to make some ground up.
Yeah, and right about 3 car lengths off his bumper is Patrick Howell. Actually, no, I think Patrick is in front. So
Yeah,
Alasky is behind Patrick Howell, I think.
Yep, Patrick Howell just up ahead of Alasky. It was about 1.5 seconds last time through. It's John Simon who has Patrick Howell all over the bumper. And Alasky, what a fantastic battle. We're seeing out the front windscreen of Alasky's car now. And he is starting to make up the ground here on Patrick Howell. This is going to be a 3-car fight for the podium.
Looking at the cars in the distance here, I see Donnie York still has about a 2 to 3 second gap on David Holmes, and he's keeping it pretty consistent there, which is consistent with his qualifying lap time that he laid down. And then I see Patrick Howell coming around, and I think John Simon in front of Patrick Howell. So looks like John Simon took the position back from Patrick, and you have James Alasky right behind him. So and this is for podium position.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Start-finish line again. Yeah, start-finish line. Donnie York is able to put another car lap traffic in between him and David Holmes, so he's got some work to do to get around to get there. So John Simon coming around with Patrick Howell chasing him, and James Lasky right behind him. And in a jinking fashion today, talking to Patrick Howell, is we think James is a great guy, but you can't let the new guy win, as we say, as a joke. He's the new guy.
Yeah, I said nobody wants to get beat by the new guy.
Exactly. He's giving him a race and putting the lengths on him. So, talking to Patrick, I said, just race and if you have to talk to yourself while you're driving to keep yourself calm, that's what I do. I tell myself, drive your line and be calm. Because sometimes you just get out of control out there.
Yeah, that's it. As a driver, you kind of have to find ways to settle yourself. Cale Yarborough was legendary for making race car noises while he was driving, going, the guys with the first Daytona 500, they shot flag to flag. The audio guys for CBS are going, we're hearing this weird echo in the car. It was just Kelly Yarborough. Oh, a little bit of a dust off there for John Simon in the 46, just tipping the left side tires off. Kind of forced Patrick Howe to grab the binders. There you see the tail lights is, oh man. Couple of the ST2s coming through, and that's really going to tighten things up now between Patrick Howe and James Olasky. Oh, and Olasky makes the big dive. What a pass by Olasky.
Wow. Nice pass. Patrick, let's see if Patrick can take it back now.
Oh,
Lots of passing in this race.
I'll tell you what, Wells, the other thing I'm seeing here, John, is lots of jazz hands behind the wheel, man. These guys have a handful out there.
Yeah, the temperature's starting to get a little warm with the sun out here, and again with the dust, the tires start to get a little slick around mid-race, and we are just right there.
And something to note, this is a huge field out here. 32 cars are on the racetrack right now. That really can make things difficult for these guys because you're trying to run your own race, pass the cars that you're faster than, and you also have to keep an eye on the rearview mirror because there are cars that are, 5-6 seconds a lap quicker than the Spec Corvettes. There's a whole lot going on that these drivers have to be aware of. It's not all out the front windshield.
Absolutely. With the ST2 and SU cars coming into play, these guys are coming at a pretty good closing speed to the Spec Corvettes as they have over 100, 200 horsepower more than them. You got to keep on your mirrors and be in the front and the back at the same time. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, we actually talked about that a little bit here. The rules of the road for the Spec Corvette series. These guys have very specific things that they are limited to out here on the racing surface. That is a 3,200-pound minimum and a 380 horsepower maximum. That's a big, big deal for these guys to have to meet that number. And quite frankly, you can get a lot more speed out of these things. It's just a matter of what does the rule book allow you to do. And it's a stock LS6 or an LS1 motor.
Absolutely. And the name of the game is stock engine, stock power, reliability. The cars are plenty fast the way they are. We're faster than a lot of different cars on slicks and arrows. So we don't need to go much faster. We just need to have the cars fun, flat, and parts availability.
Going on board with John Simon as he's locked in a tight battle with one of the lap cars, one of the roadsters coming around. It's interesting how it kind of works out that some cars make their speed in a straight line, some make their speed in the corners. That's what's really fun to watch about this is some cars, you just watch them and you go, hey, this guy's faster than me in the corners, but I'm going to outspeed him on the straightaways. That's where you have to make your gaps, and quite frankly, that's part of the strategy of how you run these races too. It's not just running the Spec Corvettes, but how can you use the other cars to your advantage as well?
Absolutely, yeah. There's things you certainly can do in traffic and making sure you get a car in between you, another car, in between you and the car behind you that you're trying to beat. And sometimes you brake a little earlier so that the other car has to catch up, and they slow down, and then you have full of gap on both of them. And keep that car in between you. So there's some strategy that goes along with it. Certainly lots of things going on.
So let's go back on board with our race leader, Donnie York. Donnie just putting on an absolute clinic here today, holding a 3.6 second advantage over David Holmes.
It's more than that now. There's at least 70 yards in between. This next lap is probably giving you about 5 or 7 seconds difference. So he's put a larger gap in with the traffic. I think that certainly helps. There's Donnie York. And here comes David Holmes. David running a really good, consistent race. It just doesn't have enough for Donnie today. Running a really strong race, these guys. Donnie's just ripping.
Yeah, Donnie's having a nice race right now. 6.9 seconds the gap between Donnie York and David Holmes. John Simon still holding on to third. James Alasky runs in the fourth possession. Let's go on board with Alasky as he's starting to get caught up to John Simon. But man alive, the hands are so busy behind the wheel. Some guys are smooth and some guys are just absolutely grip the wheel and rip the car around the racetrack.
Yeah, it's good showing for James this weekend as his first weekend racing with us. First weekend in the car racing, that Spec Corvette, brand new build. Has done an excellent job keeping things clean. And more importantly than that, an overall good guy to hang out with. So we really look forward to that and look for that in other races. You know, it's all about, it's just as much about the racing as camaraderie with all of us.
Yeah, that's an important one, and it's something actually I noticed when I went to the Rolex 24 this year. The camaraderie of that you get and the sense of community that you get. You wander through the Corvette Corral or through the Ferrari Corral, and you could see the cars that these guys are racing as well as showing off. And it's just a nice group of people that you want to hang out with and you're going to enjoy your weekends with. That's a big deal for these guys. Quite frankly, that's what makes it fun. Yes, the competitiveness is cool, but being able to hang out with the same group of people and go, yep, I do this because it's fun, not because it's hyper competitive.
Yeah, we make that a really big point as part of Spec Corvette. We've had some people come through that are don't have that same attitude, and they within a year realize it's not for them, and that's okay because we want to enjoy our weekends. This is a hobby for us, and we want to go out there, have fun, and not be at each other's throats. You can do that Monday through Friday at your job, but when you come out here for the weekend, we want to have fun, and that's what it's all about.
Well, we're live on Facebook and on YouTube today, and want to thank everybody who's checked in and watching the shows with us here. And get us out in the comments. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from. We can get your comments up on the air. If you're interested in Spec Corvette racing, let us know. We can put you in touch with John and the whole Spec Corvette team because we are now down inside of 10 minutes remaining in the Sunday race here at Chuckwalla Valley Raceway. Donnie York holding that big lead over David Holmes. John Simon, James Alasky, Patrick Howell, the top five. 6 and 7 belongs to Clint Pichon and Evan Gold. Robert Carroll running in the 8th position here today.
Yeah, it looks like Donnie York has got a pretty good pace right now. He's got about a football field in between him and David. So David's catching a lot of traffic, and sometimes it works for two-wheel advantage, sometimes it doesn't, and it's definitely affecting him. So it looks like I see the white flag coming out. I'm not sure if this is the last lap, but it sure does look like it. Unless they're ending it early. They are waving the white flag at this time.
Yeah, white flag out at the start-finish line. We can see that from John Wynn's camera here. Let's pick up our race leader, Donnie York.
At this point in time, it's going to take a pretty big mess-up, 4 off, spin around before Dave could catch back up to him. So Donnie just needs to get down one solid lap, and he's going to be able to take this win home. This will be his first win in a long time with Spec Corvette, and deservedly so. He's been working so hard with that. Here comes Dave Holmes. By far, some of the best racing of these guys' careers this weekend. Donnie York, David Holmes, Patrick Howell, James Alasky, the whole crew. John Simon doing a great job, just making the great passes there. James Alasky not far off his bumper here. I don't think he's going to have enough to get it done.
Yeah, and this is such a momentum boost for guys like Donnie York and David Holmes, like you mentioned. Going into the season, kicking off the West region with a really solid run. The cars are dialed in. It kind of feels like you're in mid-season form. That when we get to some of these races a little bit later in the year with bigger fields, you can contend with these guys. That is going to be huge for Donnie York and David Holmes. As we are all...
You're going to watch out for Dave. He's got the speed, he's putting it all together in the second year with us. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to see him damn near the top, if not at the top of the podium, if he stays this consistent with his driving.
And you can hear the revs out of Donnie York's car. Not pushing that thing too hard. Just no reason to go absolutely ballistic here on what will be the white flag lap, and a big, big win for the 63 of Donnie York with just a handful of corners left to go.
All right, checkered flag is out. And Donnie and Dave are coming around here for their last lap. What a great run for these guys. For
There it is.
Group. Excellent. Doesn't look like there's any issues, no contact, just racing. Good job, Donnie York. All right.
There you go. Underneath that big checkered flag, the 63 of Donnie York claims the win here at Chuckwalla Valley Raceway. David Holmes will come home second. Pick up the onboard now with John Simon as he's out of the final corner under the checkered flag. And a very nice third-place finish for the 46 of John Simon. James Alasky making that final couple of corners as well. Alasky out over the start-finish line. And James Alasky will finish in the fourth position. Patrick Howell coming home fifth. Sixth to Clint Pichon. And Evan Gold still yet to cross the line. But Evan Gold he will get his race finished, and now just waiting on the 147 of Robert Carroll to complete the Spec Corvette grid. But 8 cars out here today putting on an absolutely fantastic show for us here. We do appreciate all the work that goes into getting these cars built together. John said it earlier in the show. This is a hobby for these guys. Yes, it's they want to be competitive, you want to win and all that stuff. But this is hobby racing, and quite frankly, everybody's going home with all the parts and pieces intact. Hopefully, Dan Sepulveda doesn't have too much work to do to his machine to get it back out on the racetrack. But all in all, it's always a good weekend when everybody is loading on the trailer in about the same shape they came off of it. And that's what we got here out of the Spec Corvette series this weekend. We'll check in one more time. We got him on camera now, so we'll check in with John Wynn here. I'll tell you what, John, just a fantastic show this weekend. And, man, we got a whole lot coming up here. You know the schedule better than I do off the top of your head, but a couple of weeks, we're going to be back here doing this same thing.
Yeah, so couldn't ask for a better weekend that we just had. I mean, super excited for the guys and how they finished. Clean racing. Everybody drove the best races I've ever seen them drive. No issues. The cars, we had one off with Daniel Sepulveda's car, and he's going to get that repaired. Other than that, you know, you got Donnie York, David Holmes bringing first place wins each day. You know, they're great friends. They pit together, they work together on their cars, and you couldn't ask for a better finish for two buddies to go out there, hammer it, and then have beers like we had last night, steaks. We sat there and watched the live stream as a group and had a good time with that. And yeah, overall, excellent weekend. So coming up, have a great schedule for this year. We're going to be going down to Arizona for Podium Club, which is going to be our first time racing there, which should be very interesting. So lots of Arizona guys joining Spec Corvette and building cars. So we want to make sure we support that area. And we're heading down to Podium Club. So we'll see you down there. I'm going to go ahead and get the awards, get these guys all sorted out as they're heading over to InTown right now. Check the scales, make sure they're legal, and let's hand out some awards. So back to you, Chris. Thank you so much for all your help.
All right, John. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you. And your mic is cold now, so you are good to converse as you need to. Man alive. Fantastic weekend of Spec Corvette Series racing. If you didn't catch it in the Open yesterday, or in the Open today, the red flag issue from yesterday was a car fire, different class car fire. Driver is okay. Car, no word on how bad the car may have been banged up, but all in all, it's always a good weekend when things are safe. Have to say a huge thank you to everybody who helps makes these Spec Corvette races possible. It is a very, very big deal and a whole lot that goes into this. So Let's very quickly thank all of our sponsors. Today's National Racing Network broadcast of the Spec Corvette Series is presented by G-Stream, Improved Racing, Penske Racing Shocks, Sparco, TPS Motorsports, Turn 1, Willwood Brakes, Track Spec Motorsports, and the presenting sponsor of the Spec Corvette Series, Nankang Motorsport Tires. Thank you to all the sponsors, as we said, that help make these shows happen. A fantastic weekend of racing, and we are looking forward to bringing more of it to you. But with that, it's time for us to get the heck on out of here. Great show this weekend. Thank you very much, Spec Corvette guys. We will see you all very soon, Monday night. The iRacing Silver Crown Cup is coming, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 5:45 for those of you out west. Tuesday, it's the iRacing Sprint Car Cup. Thursday, the USF Pros on the iRacing side of things. Whole lot going on here on the National Racing Network. Make sure you check it all out. For John Wynn and everybody else here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.